Hello everyone, welcome to Solve classes. This is Tushar Shaw, and in this video we will be continuing to solve the UPSC CS Mains 2020 paper. Okay, that we were solving since the last three videos, I guess. Okay, so this is obviously, as I have told you already, that this is a subjective type question. No multiple choices are there, and therefore you will not be having any negative marks for this kind of questions. Okay, the questions will be big, and you have to, and as it is a subjective question, you have to write each and every step correctly so as to get the full marks. Okay, so obviously I am solving these questions. I'm right, each and every step that I mention in this way in this video about all these answers. These must be there in your copy so as to get your full marks. Okay, and many things I do mention using just by saying it out. So you may write down these things as your notes. Okay. So let's start this video. So in the last video we did up till question number 2a. Okay, the pointer. So in last video we did up till question number 2a. So in this video we'll be starting from question number 2b. Okay. So in the question 2b it says that a person claims that a heat engine exchange heat with reservoirs at 300 and 500 Kelvin. Okay. So the heat reservoirs are at heat reservoirs are at 300 Kelvin and 500 Kelvin. Okay, these are the two temperatures that are given, and the heat that is produced is 450 joules per 1000 joules. Okay, heat extracted from the hot reservoir. The question is his or her claim feasible? Give reasons to support your answer. Okay, so this person is saying that both the heat reservoirs are at 300 and 500 Kelvin, and the heat exchange that is taking place from the hot reservoir is 450 joules per 1000 joules. So we have to compare whether these two data fall in accordance to each other and whether this person is saying right or not. So the only way to compare these two data is by the formula of efficiency. Okay, so we will be calculating the efficiency values for both the cases and then we will be comparing. Okay, so yeah, so let us look into the question. We have let us say the formula for efficiency C is equal to 1 minus T2 by T1. Okay, here obviously T2 is 300. Why T2 is 300? Because let me just draw the diagram for you. This has This diagram is also very important because it may help you understand the question and write the conclusions accordingly, and obviously the help the teacher who is checking making him understand that you have understood the question and writing the correct answer. Okay, here we have minus W cyclic. So from Q1 and T1 state, some work is done that we have denoted by minus W cyclic, and after that, and this is the hot reservoir, and this one is the cold reservoir. Okay, so in the cold one we have Q2 amount of heat at the temperature T2. So this one is at 500. This one is hot and at 500. This one is at 300 Kelvin, obviously, and the work done in converting this from 500 Kelvin to 200 to 300 Kelvin, the 200 Kelvin extra temperature worth of heat is given off for the work done. Okay, so let us just calculate the value of efficiency for this case. We have let's say 1 minus 300, because T2 is 300, divided by 500. So we have this one as 1 minus, just cancel this out, we have 0.6, which is equal to 0.4. So from the temperature data we calculate the value of efficiency to be 0.4. Moving on to the heat data that is given in the question. So we will be calculating the efficiency from the heat data also, and then we will be comparing whether the data is correct or not. Okay. So again, we know that efficiency is equal to W cyclic divided by Q1. Okay, and W cyclic would be equal to Q1 plus Q2. This one is already derived in the first law of thermodynamics, obviously from the that heat reservoir data and calculation. So you may just go check that out. But in this case, I am not deriving the whole thing because obviously it is not required in this case. You just have to calculate the sum and check whether the data is correct or not. So we will be doing just that. So the derivation is not required here. So divide by Q1 will be the case here, and then uh, 1 plus Q2 by Q1. Okay, so this would be the case, and therefore obviously, so we will be calculating this as, I'm sorry, here would be minus. Okay, minus, because the heat is released from the system for doing the work. So 1 minus the heat that is left in the system Q1, which is Q2, sorry, Q2, which is equal to 1000 minus 450 divided by the total heat that was taken was 1000. This one is why, because in the cold reservoir, the excluding the heat that is given out in the process, that is 450 calories, we will be getting the value that is remaining from the 1000 calories with after subtracting the heat that is removed from the system via the work done. So that will be equal to 1 minus 550 divided by 1000. So let me just calculate the value for you. Uh, so we have 551 minus 550 divided by 1000. So this one is equal to 0.45. 0.45, yeah. So obviously you can see that this value 0.4 and this value 0.45 is not the same, though they are like kind of same, because obviously the data is quite just a bit changed. So the person's claim is obviously not true. Okay, so this would be the correct statement for this, that the person's claim is not true, as the data from the efficiency of calculation of temperature and that of the heat are not coming to be same. Efficiency C is not equal to the efficiency normal that we calculated from the heat value, and therefore the person's claim is not correct. So this would be a proper statement while writing your in the exam. So you must like learn in this way. Okay. Let us move on to the next question. And the last question, obviously, you must note that as the efficiency range is not like quite does not have a quite a bigger change. So obviously, you can see that when you calculate the actual heat value from the efficiency value of 0.4, you will be seeing that obviously the data that was given, that was 450 joules from 1000 joules, was not like exactly very inaccurate. Some due to some changes, they may, after some changes, they may give the exact value of the calculation of efficiency from the temperature also. Okay, so okay, this was a discussion for that. So let us move on to the next question, that is question 2c. So this question is a kind of a derivation one, because you have to just calculate, like derive one of the formulas, and you have to draw the graph out of it. Okay, so the equation that is given is A to B. The forward rate is K1, the backward rate is K2, and we have to firstly derive the plots of plots of concentration of A and B. We have to calculate the concentration of A and B using the exact derivation, and we have to like plot the data in accordance to that. So let's say at initial time, at t is equal to 0, we have this as A0 concentration and this one at 0. So at t equal to equilibrium, we would be having A naught minus x, and here we would be having x. Simple basic calculation. So we may write minus dA by dt as K1A minus K2B. Okay, as we are normally writing the rate law, the differential rate law for any kind of equation, we will be using that concept to write the rate law for this equation. Okay, now in case of here, we know that the equilibrium concentration A is the equilibrium concentration A we have calculated to be A naught minus X. Okay, A naught minus X, and the equilibrium concentration B would be equal to X. So equilibrium concentration of B would be equal to X. So let us put the values in the above equation. We have I'm writing it here. D minus of here also we will be putting the value of A. So D of A naught minus X, this whole thing in bracket, divided by dt is equal to K1 A naught minus X minus K2 X. Let us name that as equation 2. Now yeah, so this was the case, or we may say, we may just write it like d A naught by dt. This would be equal to, like, as A naught is a fixed concentration, the differentiation of a fixed value would be equal to 0, and this minus minus would cancel out. So we will be getting dx by dt is equal to K1 A naught minus X minus K2 X. This would be equation 3. Okay. So now let us put the boundary values that we know. So at X is equal to XF, that at the final concentration of X, dx by dt would be equal to 0. So at this concentration, as dx by dt would be equal to 0, then this term as a whole would be also equal to 0. Or we may say K1 A naught minus XF would be equal to K2 XF. Okay. Or we may write K1 A naught equal to K1 plus K2 bracket XF. Cool. So this was the first part of our derivation. We calculated the value for A naught. Okay. Now the value for K1 A naught we calculated in the terms of K1 and K2 and XF. We do not know we are not using the, why we are eliminating the value of A naught, because we need to calculate all the values in the form of equilibrium concentration. Okay. So let us put the value for K1 A naught in the above equation. Let me show you which equation. So in this equation, obviously, in this equation we will be putting the value of K1 A naught. Okay, and the other values would be there as it is. So we may write dx by dt would be equal to K1 plus K2 XF minus K1 plus K2 X. Or you may say, you may just factorize this. K1 plus K2 is taken common. We have XF minus X. This would be one of the steps. Now let us integrate it, like this differential equation, so as to get the integrated rate law for that kind of reaction. So we will be having dx by xf minus x is equal to K1 plus K2 into dt. So we will be integrating this here, we will be integrating this here. So at t is equal to 0, let us put the boundary conditions here also. At t is equal to 0, okay, let us before putting the boundary condition, let us solve the equation and get the value first. So we have ln xf minus x is equal to K1 plus K2 t plus c. Or you may say I, the integration constant, or whatever. This constant is not the matter, obviously. Constant is the matter, but the term for this constant is not the matter. Okay. So after this, let us put the boundary condition. So at t is equal to 0, x would be equal to 0. So from the above equation, we will be getting that I is equal to minus ln xf. So putting the value of I, or you may say c, I was writing c. In the notes I have I, so that is the case. So let us put the value of c in the above equation. We will be getting ln xf by xf minus x is equal to K1 plus K2 into T. This is the exact equation for that reaction that we have been calculating. Okay. This is the exact equation. Now the question is not finished here obviously, because we have to like calculate the concentration of both the term, both the A and B in the proper terms. Okay. So from this equation we may write, or xf minus x divided by xf is equal to e to the power minus k1 plus k2 into t. We just did a reciprocal on both the sides. Okay. The next step I am just writing, taking reciprocal and moving them to e to the power, moving the whole equation to e to the power. Okay. So we'll be getting kind of this situation. So after this, 1 minus x by xf would be equal to e to the power minus k1 plus k2 into t. And so therefore we know we'll be getting the value of x to be equal to xf into 1 minus e to the power minus k1 plus k2 t. Okay. So this would be the equation, and from the starting of the derivation we know that at equilibrium B had the concentration equal to x. So this would be equal to the equilibrium concentration of B. Okay. Another thing that is instead and except for B, we also have one the value, we have to calculate the value of A. So from the initial terms we know that A is equal to A naught minus x, which is equal to A naught minus xf into 1 minus e to the power minus k1 plus k2 t. Okay. And in this case you may put the value of a naught to be equal to that x k1 plus k2 into xf divided by k1. That value you may put it, but that it is just an extra step. You won't be getting any marks for that. Okay. That equation is also correct, but that is basically that is not required in a simple case. So yeah, so this was the case. So the last thing that we need to do is draw the graph for this. So let me just draw the graph for you. Um, the concentration term is here, the time is here. So we would be having this side and this side. So this kind of graph we would be having from B. This one should be B and this one would be A. Why? Why this B plot is kind of lower, approximately half, because we have been provided by the data that K1 by K2 is equal to 2. That is K1 is 2 times stronger than 2, like K1 is equal to 2K2. So the rate of K1 is 2 times stronger. The rate of the first reaction, that is conversion from A to B, is 2 times faster than the conversion of B to A. So that's why A to B is converting, like for the concentration of A formed is like extremely high, and the concentration of B formed from the reaction is extremely low. Okay. So this is the overall question that we did. Let us stop this video here. This video is already about more than 15 minutes. So yeah. So this was the case. We will be continuing from the question number 2D from the next video obviously. So let us wrap this video up. Thank you guys for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.